Reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network. You're listening to Lotro Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network. Brought to you by Audible. Go to audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter to get your first month free. And by Doghouse Systems. Go to doghousesystems.com and use the coupon code MMO Reporter to get a free 120 gig SSD with your purchase. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of MMO.
Whoa! Too mellow.
Whoa, hold on.
The music was way too mellow.
Hold on. What are we recording again? No, this is not MMO Reporter. This is Lotro Reporter. My head is in a whole bunch of different places today. I've been back at work since the surgery for the first time this week. This is day 2 today. So I apologize. Oh, my God. I feel so dumb, Carrie. We're totally leaving that in the show. We're not redoing that because I think the world needs to know about my dumb.
Should I argue or should I just do a count 1, 2, 3 and I'm not exactly sure what to do.
Do I agree with his own self-insult or do I disagree? And then I don't. Yeah, let's just leave it. Okay. This is Lotro Reporter 317. We are here. I had a great time, I want to say, chatting with Cordovan and Severlin last show. That was really, really great. And I know that, and we were talking about this in the pre-show, that I did focus probably about a good half of the interview on the business side of things, and then about another quarter on DDO and another quarter on Lotro. But I felt that all of the game-specific stuff would be coming in future episodes and in other stuff. And I thought this was the one opportunity, really, to ask them about the business side stuff, because that's what it had just happened, and I thought they'd be quite frank, which they were. What they could talk about, they did in detail, and what they couldn't talk about, they just said they couldn't talk about it. So it was really cool, and I find that stuff amazingly fascinating. The way that they went about, and we didn't get any how to split your company up tips or anything like that, but I don't know. I was just wonderfully fascinated by it all, so I was really happy with how that turned out. I hope that you all enjoyed it.
Oh, I enjoyed it very much. I did laugh a little bit because I have been involved with leasing leases and the length of time it takes to, split a part of a space off for a lease.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that particular split has been going on for a very long time if they had their landlord involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad we got the important questions like who owns the TP dealt with.
Yeah,
that
the
was
landlord
the important
does.
one.
Mm.
Yeah,
they may have a shared bathroom. Yeah, and may have a shared kitchen. You don't know, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, as I believe it was Severlin mentioned, there's still some pretty hardcore. Maybe it was Cordovan. Some pretty hardcore RPG games going. In the
I
offices,
want to sit in a turbine. I want to be a guest in a turbine standing stone tabletop RPG game.
I wonder with the WB influence if they're playing the Lord of the Rings RPG, if perhaps the turbine people with the corporate overlords are playing as the orcs and the goblins, and Standing Stone is like the hobbits and the free peoples of Middle Earth. That would be horrible. I like the people at Turbine. I wouldn't want to wish them to be under the servitude of Sauron any day.
Nope.
No. All right. Well, let's get into. We do have quite a bit of show to go through today, so let's get into what we have been doing in game. Carrie, why don't you start?
I patched it. I have been so busy that I have not played. I mean, I think I played some Final Fantasy 15 like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Have you finished it yet, by the way?
No, I haven't. I've barely barely gotten started.
If anybody has a console, or I believe it's available on PC on Steam too, right? Isn't it?
I don't know. Let me double check real
Yeah.
quick.
As she's saying that, I do think this would be a great fit for our Lotro community. It's a great story of an RPG, and I know that I heard a lot of complaints about they still needed to patch more of the story. I finished it and I really enjoyed it. I thought that the main character was a whiny little brat, and I didn't feel any more. I didn't feel like they resolved that by the end, but was surprised as I got
It
into the
is not on
last
PC.
third. Okay, so if you got a console, take a look at it. By the last third, how much I cared about the characters and the
Yeah.
journey that they were going through. And I didn't think that I'd have that because a lot of the opening sections, the characters are quite vapid and they don't really do a lot to hook you in. So I don't know. I can't go back and think, oh, that's how they did it. That's why I cared about these characters and was upset when things happened in the ways that they did. I can't point to things that they did because I thought they were doing a horrible job until I was on the verge of tears.
Yeah. Well, they
Stupid game.
Final Fantasy sneaks up on you like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Did you play 10? And that
No.
this is Final Fantasy Reporter.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple. It was just like you're going along and it's like, this teenage kid and I think and then suddenly you realize, he realizes what he's been, it's been a joke until he hits the point and he realizes though somebody is, actually out there to die for
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like and then the very end it's like wait, what?
Yeah.
So they did the same thing. It's like they start out as these shallow kids who are out on a lark and having fun, and then they just rip your guts out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Twice in that game, rip your
Yeah.
guts out.
And
So,
I want to go back and do more dungeons because I like the dungeons in there, but the whole once you finish the game system is stupid. The way they, I
yeah.
don't want to go into it, but it's just
Well,
it's
yeah, I don't know
dumb.
if did they do it like 13? So 13's main game was very, very short, and then suddenly like, here's the world, go kill stuff, and I'm like,
No,
I'm done with the game.
it's like, okay, once you beat the game, they're like, oh, opened up an old save game, and then you can go roam around the world, but your character will still have all the abilities from when you finish the game, but you have to open up an old save game, and then go
Makes
and
no.
time travel to go back to the other part. Oh, it's just dumb. Anyways,
Oh yeah, that makes no sense. Okay,
back to
any
Lotro stuff. So you haven't played
yeah,
Lotro. Well, I have been playing for both of us. I
okay,
have been playing my new Hobbit Burglar, and I've decided that I'm going to
nice.
join the 40 Thieves on Brandywine and level that. I just had an opportunity to level up a new character. I am absolutely loving how the game looks right now. If any of you are wondering if system upgrades will help with Lotro, they will to a point. I still find that I have times when I'm playing, and I've got a pretty, like, I'm not going to hear like a blow on my hand and scuff it on my shirt. Yeah, great system. But I've got a 6800K and a 1080, a GTX 1080 in my computer, so I've got some power under there, and I average about 120 frames a second, but I dip right down to like 40 sometimes.
Hmm.
And it's because, and I saw a couple messages about this on forums and stuff like that. It's an old engine. It's a 10-year-old engine. It's going to happen, right? It's not
Yeah.
optimized. It's optimized for older CPUs and older ways things ran. So it's still, though, I have to say, and I'm going to move the video up here to a later point so I can show everybody here. But I went out
Uh,
on a bit of a run at the end of this little play session here, and I went through. I of course, as a Hobbit, I did a Hobbit burglar, and I'm going through Hobbiton and the Shire. And at the end of it, I went and I did a big run, and I got to see this wonderful vista. And I don't know of any other game that does vistas quite
oh,
like
the
Lotro
the
does.
Shire vistas. I just ride
Oh
through
my
the
god!
Shire at dawn or dusk and get goosebumps. Still,
Right,
I've been playing this six
and
years.
and so um to top it all off, and I know I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to say that, if people are thinking, oh, upgrades to my hardware won't do anything for my Lotro experience. I'm lucky enough to have an ultra widescreen curved monitor, which is why if you're watching the video, the aspect ratio is kind of funny. It's very wide compared to how tall it is. It's 21 by 9, I believe it is, rather than the usual 16, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
quite wide. And it's curved. It looks beautiful to play on. It's amazing and wonderful and fantastic. And so I've really, really been enjoying that. The Shire is, and I don't know if this is for everyone, but I would have a guess that it is. The Shire is my most played through zone that I have ever
Yeah.
done. And I plan on this one too. I'm going to redo all the deeds in the Shire. I always do. Here, let me pause it here now that it's at that vista that I was talking about.
Okay.
Um,
We're gonna have to do something that is not a very burglary outfit.
yeah, you know what? I've got the shield on for the XP boost.
Well, hide
Um,
the shield.
yeah, I guess I could do that. But you know what? You get the pantsuit when you join the 40 Thieves. I don't know
Okay.
about the pantsuit though.
All
It's just a
right.
red pantsuit, like a tracksuit.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to work. I'm
Mm,
gonna have to. We're gonna have to work on
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
So,
when you go to the 40 Thieves meeting,
yeah.
then you can wear your red tracksuit, but we'll come up with a proper burglar outfit for you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So, I'm gonna keep playing this because this is just a really cool
How are
part
you
of the game.
liking it? Because I've got a burglar in the 30s, and I was getting extremely frustrated.
I haven't leveled a burglar up that high. I deleted a level 17 or something burglar to get this guy going again. I never like the idea. Why bother having two of the same class? That's just me. Other people
Hmm.
can do it. That's fine. Wonderful. Good for you. Just for me, like I don't understand the it
That's
doesn't work for
so
me.
pretty.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, so I'm enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying the little bit of stealth mechanics. I don't know how much with groups that I'm going to play. So uh,
Yeah, I think
setting
that's
up
the
the
problem.
conjunctions, or sorry, fellowship maneuvers. I do that every time, by the way. That tells you
Hmm.
how old of a Lotro player I am because in beta, not even in
There.
launch, they were called fellowship
Okay.
maneuvers by launch, but in beta they were called
Okay.
conjunctions.
Yeah. The problem
So,
I had is this is clearly a class that is designed to work with somebody else because
hmm
a lot of your damage is contingent upon them not seeing you, you being on
right,
the back side of
yep,
them. And when you're doing this by yourself, it makes it a little hard. And that was
yeah.
where I was running into some frustration.
You have to burst off that initial attack from stealth is what it really comes down to. You really have to make sure you nail that rotation right off the stealth. So and
Yep.
that's not for everybody. So and I have also been continuing my exploration outside of the Black Gate with my warden and preparing for that. Um, I just that whole area outside the Black Gate, between the White City and the Black Gate, it's really cool. It's just a nice place. It's funny that as you get close to the Black Gate, obviously it gets worse, but as there's a lot of that area that's very lush.
Hmm.
Once you get
Yeah.
outside of the battle areas of Osgiliath and the White City, and you get into the sort of wilds out there, it's really quite lush, and the Ranger camp and stuff like that, where Faramir is. Yeah, so
Yeah, so I'm not there. I'm actually a level 102 on Landreval,
okay,
and I am trying to work my way through the story. The main storyline is what
yeah,
I was doing a few weeks ago, and then I patched it and I did log in, saw where I was at, and went, I don't have time to to do that
right,
before recording tonight, so I'll just let it go and I'll get back to it. But
yeah.
I am so excited about this news. I cannot wait.
Lots of stuff to talk about here. Before
Should we
we get
get
there,
to it?
though, what's that?
Oh, yeah.
We gotta do a couple quick mentions. Thank you to our patrons over at patreon.com/MMO Reporter. You are some of my absolutely favorite people. And one of the things that we've done is actually we've got our Discord server, which we'll throw a link to our Discord server in the show notes as well. But I've created a patron-only chat room in our Discord server. So can chat in there with some patrons and started a patron only weekly video. So some cool stuff for our patrons. We do have a few different levels of patronage that you can choose from intern with a dollar a month up to senior editor if you want to support us that much. So go check out patreon.com/MMO Reporter. Help us keep the lights on and grow the shows on MMO Reporter. So thank you so much to everyone who does support the shows. Now let's move things along to the news. All right, so we have probably one of the most news-filled producers' letters that I have read ever in the history of Lotro. Now, I say this with the caveat that for those of us who follow the Lotro community quite closely, producers' letters are always a weird thing because they usually tell us absolutely nothing new. As people who follow the news, we get all this stuff through tweets and forum posts and other interviews and all that sort of stuff. But producers' letters are intended for the community en masse, and they want to get sort of the information out to everyone that might not follow the community, that might not listen to podcasts and stuff. So they're usually quite bland, quite generic, and very vague in what they're talking about. But this one had a lot of information in it, and I'm really, really excited. First, and we'll discuss sort of each one of these little chunks. First is the mention that there will be a new event to celebrate the 10th anniversary.
Wow.
That's exciting. You love events.
I do. I love events. They're some of my favorite things to do.
I will say that I am absolutely bored of events. I have done events for many years. I have been playing since launch in Lotro. So I'm quite tired of it. But the idea of a 10th anniversary celebration has got me interested. I think this is the one that I will go back to, and because I'm not going to get to do this ever again. There won't ever be another 10th anniversary celebration.
That will be pretty cool. I'm very excited to see this.
Now, the impetus is on Standing Stone Games to deliver something that is worthy of a 10th anniversary celebration and doesn't simply recycle elements from other celebrations, other festivals, other events into this new theme, but you're doing the same stuff. If they did that, I would be incredibly disappointed because I think it's taking away an opportunity. I do think that it's worth the resources, even with the work that they have to put in for the expansion. I think it's worth the resources to put something together that is exceptional for the 10th anniversary and new and different.
Yes, and if there's a blanket horse in sight, I will be sorely disappointed. I'm tired of those blanket horses.
Yeah, something new. Well, what if it was a new blanket? Sorry, I was baiting you on that one.
I know. Yeah. Blanket horses and robes. It's like, I love you guys very much, but you clearly didn't have enough resources for these for a while. Yeah. Please, 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 please.
Yeah.
Update 20. We're up to 20 already? Are we going to be to 20?
It's going to be to 20. And this is the pre-expansion update. So the whole goal of this expansion is to set up what's going to happen in the expansion, to get people back in and focused on to what's going to come in the next update. So there's going to be a new area, the Wastes, with the bleak no-man lands, Dagorlad, the slag hills of Mordor. And Bill mentioned this on MMO Reporter that Talion, who's the character from Shadows of Mordor,
yes,
a fantastic game. Wouldn't it be great if they had some sort of Easter egg in there? It doesn't. That would be so awesome. Could be an NPC with a misspelled name that still said Talion, that we would totally understand what it was. Maybe like a sword there or something, or the sword of Talion, or the sword of Telion, or just something to make that, because that's sort of the area that the Shadows of Mordor took place in, right?
Correct.
And it was a fantastic game. And with Easter eggs, if you do it right, you don't have to have the quote unquote rights to it, right? But it's nice to have.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And that particular game was one that kind of made me realize that it wasn't just all orcs that were running around Mordor.
Right.
There were a lot of people that had to live in that area.
Yeah. The Battle of the Black Gate. Ooh, I can't wait to get details about this. I wonder which mechanic they're going to go with. Is it going to be like a session play? Is it going to be a big battle? Is it going to like what are they? How are they going to do this? It's going to be. It
I
has to be big because we have to distract the forces of Sauron, so that
I
Frodo and Sam can destroy the ring.
I know a lot of people are really tired of big battles, but if anything else in Lord of the Rings required a big battle, this is it.
You know, if they could somehow, and I don't know if the engine could handle it, do like a big battle with phasing stages so that, you know, you started off with the big charge and you were part of that, and then you moved on to, you know, you're losing. Because really, that the free people of Middle Earth were going to lose if had the ring not been destroyed and, you know, the sundering of Mordor had happened. They would have lost. So get to that part where they're getting all circled, and then you know maybe you ended on a cliffhanger, right? Wouldn't that be
Mhm.
cool?
Yeah, because
So
you would really have no idea suddenly why that everything just went kablooey.
yeah,
You really wouldn't. I mean,
yeah,
you're a soldier in this. You didn't have the I don't know.
right,
Maybe we do have the ear and have an idea of what we're doing and why we're doing it, but I would be
yeah.
very confused.
And also mentioned here were two new capstone resource dungeons, solo or fellowship, which is awesome. They didn't mention whether it would be full fellowship and small fellowship or what, but I'm going to assume, because that's what we do here, we assume everything,
Hmm.
that they will have small fellowship and large fellowship. I'm not saying I have any information, that's just my guess.
Yeah.
Last but not least, and we're not going to talk about this because we're mentioning it in another story, various companies within the host of the West. I know they had mentioned factions in our interview,
Hmm.
and this is what they're talking about, and we'll have more information about that in the next story, actually. So,
Yeah.
update 20. This is getting to be
Big.
big. This is big news. This is exciting.
Yeah, sounds like for those of us who haven't played in a while, you might want to get your level their characters through this main story, ready to
Yeah,
go, level cap because we're going in this
and
year
and
in the next
Rohan
few months.
Rohan was cool. Rohan was
Yeah.
amazing, but I have a feeling that this will be as pivotal to the game as Moria was, because we're going into Mordor, and I loved Rohan. I loved Isengard. I loved all the content. Rivendell was cool, but Moria was something. Moria was something big,
Yeah.
and although I hate playing in it, I understand its significance to the Lord of the Rings Online. And I
Yeah.
feel like Mordor will be a similar impact upon the game as a whole.
It was yeah, it's special. I mean,
Yeah,
even somebody who was behind the curve
right.
going into Moria, I could see it was special.
Now the only thing is, at some point, we need to get ourselves some mountable ents where from which we can throw rocks or
Yeah,
pebbles
it
or
sounded like the discussion between Standing Stone and the Ents was going to take from now until the end of time
yeah.
to get them to agree to let us ride them.
I
Um,
think it was going to take that long for them to say hello.
yeah, that too, that too.
Yeah, I that's my new thing.
I
Update
saw that.
21 is the one following that. That is the expansion. And we are going to shatter the black gates and march into Mordor.
Awesome.
Yeah.
4 regions.
Mm-hmm.
That's going
That's
at
big.
least. That's big.
That's really big. New monsters, new mechanics, and new treasures. Interesting that they said new monsters because that has the monster play community going absolutely ape
Yeah, he
poop.
said something in that interview with you that I it didn't it kind of shot by something about the anyway, it kind of got me the impression that they had not forgotten the monster players.
You know, and I saw a couple of somebody commented on that interview that they need to have an area of Mordor where monster players can be loose out in the world with players. Wouldn't that be cool? Imagine if they could somehow make that work, where all of Mordor was monster play accessible.
Yeah, except that me, who's a complete and utter, I want to play PvE, would not be a happy camper.
Well, then, they would need to implement a flag system like they do in other games, where
Yeah,
players who
yeah,
want to be a part of it set their flag up, and players who don't.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
So I think that could be really, really cool. You could have some keeps that people were fighting over as part of the real world, right? Yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
New High Elf race, I will repeat my comment, and as much as it pains me to say so, and as much as maybe fanboyish I sounded in the interview, I think it's dumb. I don't think it needs
I
a
don't
new
get it.
race. I understand what they're going to in the interview that we'll mention in a little bit. Talks about it a little bit more, but I think it's dumb. I don't think we need a new type of elf. Maybe that's
Well,
because I kind of hate playing elves, and the only reason my warden is an elf is because Selenia wanted to be an elf, and we wanted to be the same race so we could start in the same area, and that's why my warden's an elf.
well, my mini's an elf because I think I like the
Right.
slenderness of the
Mm-hmm.
picture. However, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. Elves are elves. The elves, the high elves, they're like special, and they did not come back, and I don't get it.
And yeah, they have
I mean,
more power. They're closer to the quote unquote gods of Middle Earth, right? They're one
yeah,
generation, quote unquote,
yeah,
generation closer,
Generation-
right?
yeah,
It would be, like having the Men of the North, right? I can't remember the term right now, but Aragorn,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. The Dunedain,
Thank you,
Dunedain,
Dunedain.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Right,
don't.
which when we talked about that too, Rangers,
Yeah,
being a
yeah.
playable race. I think, or a class, and I think that would make more sense to me than high
Mm-hmm.
elves.
Yeah.
And I honestly I don't see myself leveling one because they're going to cost you money
Yeah.
or turbine point or are they what are they calling the points these days? Lotro points?
Lotro points.
Yeah, so they're going to cost you Lotro points,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I can't see myself going from 1 to 105, 1010, 10 whatever
Yeah. It would be
just for a new
cool.
race.
This could have some benefits if they created it like a hero race, similar to Death Knights and
Where you
the
started
Demon
at
Hunters.
80 or something?
Right, you start at level 100 and you go from 100 to 110. Right?
Ah, that makes sense.
And that would be interesting. That could be cool, and then you could make it different like that. But
Right.
I don't think they're going to go that route. And then last but not least, aesthetic improvements to all races. So they're going to do a pass at animations and textures for all the different races.
As long as we don't have the Hobbit, the Lady Hobbit walk snafu of 2015, I think we'll be okay.
I don't remember that. What happened?
They suddenly looked like they were stomping across. It was. I didn't mind it, but those who played Hobbits lost their minds because it was not the. Yeah, it was not a good walk.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. But I did. Well, maybe we'll talk about that in the other interview about switching back and forth. So if
Yeah.
you don't like it, you don't have to have it, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool. So massively, they've been on the seems to be on the press circuit, which makes we do have possibly another update coming, update 22, hopefully this year. So since we're in January, we'll hopefully in October, November, December,
Yeah.
make that.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a
they didn't
lot of content in 1 year here.
It is.
Right.
It is. I mean, we have been zipping to Mordor and zipping, forward, and I'm super excited to see, and in the interview, I think it was Cordovan mentioned, there's like several hundred pages after the ring gets dropped of stuff that has happened that they got to clean up.
Exactly, the scouring of the Shire and much more, right? So there's lots of stuff. that they can pull on to. I wouldn't be surprised if they could stretch this out into years worth of content. Years worth of content.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
now they, like you mentioned, they have been out on the press circuit. There's a couple
Yeah.
different places they've been, haven't they?
Yep. They talked to Massively,
Hmm.
Massively OP, and a couple of things that came out of that were the things we just talked about in the update 21, the character
Yeah.
model and animation update, and the high elf race.
Hmm.
So I don't know. They didn't give us any. I think they said 20, maybe March in your interview.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so
I
maybe
think
March. So
I think more telling about when sort of content releases for the expansion at least was
mhm,
when they were talking about DDO, and if the expansion didn't go as planned or they needed to put more resources on it or whatever, that would affect the October release of Late Ravenloft for DDO. So I think we're looking for the expansion in like August, September, which is
yeah,
common for expansions for Lotro. And then if you roll that back, March, April is about right for
yeah,
the
yeah,
next update. So,
yeah. I think they said. I listened to today, and I heard. I think it was Cordovan saying they were shooting. No, it was Everlyn shooting for March for the next update for Lotro.
yeah.
So, well, that's still a month away, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah. So they also had an interview with MMO Central, and Made of Lions joined them. And so one of the things that they talked about and they got some more clarification on was that allegiance system. So you're going to be
Yeah.
pledging yourselves to dwarves, hobbits, men, or elves, or who knows?
Yeah, they kind of
Uh,
answer this a little bit later on that it's just going to be
the dwarves, hobbits, men, or
those
elves. Yep,
four.
the
Yeah.
four. Great.
Yeah.
Sounds like that they each have their own story that you can follow. You can change allegiances to maybe see all four stories, but it might not be as easy as
Yeah, they
just
actually
switching.
went specifically into that because they discussed whether they were going to make the hard choice of you get one choice as you go through and you have to do it on alts. They
Mhm.
decided instead, though, that I think the way they worded it is that if you start with the dwarves and then you go to the hobbits are going to have a bit of a grudge that you started with the dwarves, so it'll be harder. And then if you go to the men, it'll be, and so on and so forth. It'll be harder as you go through the progressive allegiances. So maybe if you're looking at like a reputation type system, as you build reputation with one, you drop reputation with others, and when you switch to the other one, you have to build that reputation back up with
Oh, kind
them.
of like the in league and the in league and
I
the
Similar to that, I'm gonna guess.
because
That
what
seems
you
like it
balance
would
it,
fit.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then really, I guess the question is, it sounds like the choice itself might not matter because you can switch. It's just story. Maybe you get
Right.
different gear at the end that you have access to. If you choose to stay with one particular allegiance, you can get specific stuff that you want.
That's
Um,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I still would like to know if those darn pants make any difference at the end.
Well, we know the horseshoe does something.
They won't, yeah, won't
We don't know
tell us what
what,
the
but we know it does something.
Yeah. And what I find interesting also is a point that they made is the majority of the Mordor expansion is going to take place after the ring is
Mm-hmm.
destroyed, which kind of makes sense because, we're not going to get into that gate until that ring falls into Mount Doom.
Right.
So
Yeah. And they
yeah,
didn't they didn't feel that it would work right tonally to have players run into Sam and Frodo because it was such an isolating experience for them to go through that, right? They were
yeah,
alone, and that's part of it. If they had run into thousands and thousands of player
the
characters,
players.
it's not quite the
Here,
same.
we'll take care of Shelob for you. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, no. Uh,
And I think that's a really brave thing for them to do too, because
well,
it's
I'm
not
going
the
to
way
assume.
you would assume on the outset that it would be. You'd think an expansion into Mordor would be helping pave the way for Sam and Frodo to destroy the ring, and the climax would be the destroying of the ring. So, what's the
Yeah,
climax of this expansion going to be then?
that is a good question.
Right?
Yeah, who? I don't know. That is a very good question. But you're right. It was a very once they left, they were alone and super alone.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, having some random hobbit show up to assist them, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
I do, and I kind of like how they did in Eregion, where you would be going along, and then suddenly it's like, here's this camp that you found that gave you hints of that was their camp, and you knew you were behind them,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that would be kind of neat.
Very
So,
cool. So that it's a very long interview. There's an audio version as well as a transcript.
mhm.
So if you want to check that out, we'll have a link in the show notes. I want to mention a quick forum post that I found, and I'll read this directly, and then we'll talk about it. So this is Icehawk said, so I just got an email that says I should log in prior to March 13th or lose my VIP status. I have 2 lifetime subs in the FAQ, and in the FAQ it says that there will be no changes to lifetime subs. Is this email a change in this policy? So I did connect with Cordovan and I asked them about it, and basically they're trying to follow best practices for the business, and talking about recurring billing. Now, this person says that they have 2 lifetime subs, but according to my conversation with Cordovan, this is dealing only with recurring billing for old turbine subscriptions, and they need to, as a new company, they need to get permission from the player to continue billing. So people can cancel their VIP subs to continue to stop the recurring billing, just like they're able to. Subs are gonna still, if until the end of the VIP subscription, you're still gonna get all the benefits, um,
Mhm.
but they can't just keep all the recurring billing because they are a new company and they have to get the approval of the player characters.
And I did see a tweet from Floridine who was asking how to sub. They went to my account and they couldn't sub. It is in the store now. In order to subscribe, VIP subscribe, it is in the Lotro store
Right.
in game.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, this is not that email is not with the gift, which those of us who are VIPs got an email saying that if we logged in before a certain time, we would get a gift, a horse, I believe it is, for Lotro, and a hireling if you play DDO. So yeah, so if you've been having a really long term uninterrupted subscription, you need to just log in and take care of that subscription now with Standing Stone Games. I haven't had to go through the process myself, so I don't know what that
yeah,
looks like, but take care of it before March 13th, or else your account won't be deleted or anything like that, but they won't be able to continue billing you for the VIP subscription if that's the way you're
great.
going.
Yeah, and I didn't get the email either about
Hmm.
the
Right.
the
So I
change.
don't know why this person has 2 lifetime subs and got the email. Maybe there's a subscription somewhere in there that they forgot to mention in their post. So yeah, but hey, yeah, if you are a VIP or a lifetime sub or whatever, log in because you're gonna get a mount in Lotro or a hireling in DDO. Woot woot.
Hmm.
I like mounts. Mounts are cool.
Yeah, I
All
know.
right, that's it for our news. Let's move things along to our community section. All right, so there's a really cool forum post that was put in the Lotro forums talking about music in Lotro and
Mhm.
asking what is your favorite. Let me try to. What is your favorite Lotro theme for each region? This person has only played up to a region so far, and so their personal experiences are limited. Let's just sort of round this out and just say, what is our favorite Lotro theme? What's your favorite music? Carrie, why don't you start?
And now you made me because I didn't copy and paste
I have it. I
it.
have it here. You just have to
Okay,
talk about it.
okay. I can't remember the name of it.
Let us sing together.
Let us sing together. Yeah, that is one of my
I
favorite.
remembered
There's
for you. There we
yeah,
go. Isn't that pretty?
I love that. Yeah, that actually it was part of the theme song for Casual Showed Mordor,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a happy song that makes me smile.
It is really fantastic, and it's very hobbity, right? Very
Yes.
light and airy and happy. Now it's funny that you picked that as your favorite because my favorite Lotro theme is actually Lotro Legacy, which was the intro, the main menu music
Riders Rohan.
since Riders of Rohan, and so I just really absolutely love it. And so it starts like this. You know, we've all heard it as we log in, but if you listen to the whole song, I'm just going to pause, right? We've got this part which has French horns, which, yay. But if you
Yeah.
listen to this part, look what happens coming up here. Right, here's the end of this theme, and all that happens.
And then it.
Just wait for it. Wait for it. Here it comes, almost. Turn this down a bit. Okay, here it comes. Right here. Transition. And then
Yep. Into that.
same song. And here I'll tell a little story. Just wait. Listen for the violin thing here. Okay, so Chance Thomas is amazing. So cool story. I got to go when I was writing for PC Gamer. I've told this story a couple times, so I'm going to be quick. I got to go to the soundtrack recording in Salt Lake City for Riders of Rohan, and I wasn't able to go when they were recording with the whole orchestra because I was on a band trip with my own students. But I went on the weekend. I went on the Friday and stayed to Saturday, and they were working on this, and I got to hear the fiddle player record that part. So it's funny that our two favorite songs have that connection. Great
Yes,
minds
because
think alike.
I know I just love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. So another thing we'll have a link in the show notes if you want to go and add to the conversation on the forums. Another thing, I tweeted out a few days ago that if anyone in the Lotro community had any cool things going on in game, to let us know. And someone replied to that tweet, Carrie, with that first link that you have there. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Yep. So that the person who replied to you is Flordine, and that is lotroorders.com, and what they do is they basically track all of the in-game events, music, plays, that kind of thing. They have quite the calendar of events going on.
Yeah.
The different, a lot of them on Landravine, a lot of them on Landreval, but I do believe Crick Hollow and some of the other ones, you can add your event. It is
Mm-hmm.
quite, yeah, it's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the yeah, Brandywine Serval's got stuff too. They're doing um a play
Yep.
on two different servers on two different days.
Yeah, they're sort of repeating the chapters on the different servers so that different people can participate, which I think is cool. Right? I
Yes,
think that's really awesome.
Crick
And
Hollow, Laurelon, and Landreval are most of the events, and then it
mm-hmm.
looks like they've got a really cool thing like a newspaper going on as well.
Yeah,
But
and
that's
then oh, go ahead.
Lonely Mountain Band is who Flordine is
Mm-hmm.
my kin.
And Noten Zauber, which is actually one of the posts here on Lotro Artists, let us know as well about their event, Jazz Music, or as the club owner in Ron Burgundy would say, Jazz Flute, is going on. I've got all the notes here. On Saturday, February 25th, 3 p.m. server time, 21 CET, in the Ivy Bush Inn in Hobbiton on Landreval. So if you want
Yeah.
some jazz music, then
And
this is it for you.
when I logged in tonight on Landreval, Corey Olson was in Bree giving a talk on Twitch/Discord about lore. He's doing that quite often.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like it when worlds collide like that. I
Yeah.
just think that's really super awesome and super cool. Okay. Let's. I think this is pretty much our show
show.
here. It was a lot of fun, as always, to have our wonderful chat room. As quiet as you were, I know you were there. I know you were
Listening.
there. It's okay. We understand.
Yeah.
It was. Thank you so much for coming out and chatting with us. It was great to have you here. Carrie, if people want to get a hold of us, how would they do that?
Oh, yay. That's my favorite part. Let me see if I can remember now. Okay, you can email us at lotro.reporter@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can tweet at us at Lotro Reporter.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure to find us on Facebook. Just search for Lotro Reporter.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can still leave us voicemails at
We don't get very many, but we want them.
6778. Yeah. Bill has made an executive decision. Anything less than 50% swears we'll work with. Anything more, no. Our website is MMOreporter.com, and be sure to check us out. We've got a bunch of videos on YouTube at youtube.com/MMO Reporter Network.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We sure do. Thanks, Carrie. I had a lot of fun.
I did too. I missed you guys.
Yeah, our wonderful chat room and our wonderful listeners.
Yeah.
You're all awesome. Thanks to everyone for coming out. Thanks to Carrie for recording. Thanks to everyone for listening to the podcast, consuming it however you may do so, audio, on YouTube, wherever you get it. Thanks for listening. We sure appreciate it. We hope that you come back next week, but of course, most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
Night all.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.